Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today I thought we'd talk a little bit about prepper notebooks. So, as I have said in many of my other videos, I think it is super important to write things down. If we don't write it down, we're going to lose it, forget it. It's great to write it down. And a prepper notebook is a great place to put all that information. As preppers, we're constantly gathering information. We buy books, we read articles, we're watching videos, listening to podcasts. We are constantly learning, and having all this information is so wonderful. It's all useful information, but if we don't write it down, we're going to lose it. We'll forget it. Too much information is hard to remember it all. So where do we put all this information? I think putting it in one central location so you can find it is a great idea. And a prepper notebook is just perfect for that. And a prepper notebook can be a lot of different things. It doesn't, one person is going to tell you that it needs to be a special kind of journal or something like that, but it can be whatever you want it to be, whatever works for you. I personally, I love like a leather bound journal. These have they're all sewn in together. The pages are not going to come out. And this is going to last for years and years and years and years, even flicking through it. But the only problem is it's really hard to organize it like this. And it's also, when you update information, if you tear pages out, you're loosening up other pages in something like this. So although I love journals, I think they're great, I think you could use just about anything that you like. A spiral bound notebook, something like this. These are great, except when you keep going through stuff over and over, those pages in there that you want to keep, they're going to start to tear and become loose and things like that. This is not going to last really long term. One of those composition books, these are going to last a lot longer. Again, because the pages are sewn in, but the same deal with the journal is, it's hard to organize, it's difficult. One way that I found that I think it makes it a lot easier, it lasts a very long time, and also you can organize it, is like a binder. These are great. You can just put everything in here, and you can put the pages in to the right section so you know where it is. You can find everything, and you can put little tabs on it so you know exactly, I'm looking for a certain thing, oh, right here, and just open it up. And I also like inside here, like pocket folders and things like that. I love to add that because then you can slip things in there, things that are already written down, like a business card or something like that. You can slip it in there and you have it, and it's right at your fingertips. And I think that's a really great way to go. And I also think in the back here, some empty ones, but a great way to keep everything in good condition so it's going to last are these just little thin sleeves. You get a ton of them for like $1, and you can put your pages right in there. So, handwritten stuff, typed out stuff, however you like to do it. It works as whatever works for you is how you want to do it. And I think that is a great way to go, is the binder. It's a little bit bigger, and it's, but it's going to fit in your bug out bag if you need to leave. It's, it's easy to find. You could use a bigger binder, a smaller binder, whatever works for you. Binders work great. Journals work great. I love those as well. So once you figure out what kind of book you want to use for your prepper notebook, you can use whatever it is you like. And then what do you put in it? What goes in there? Everybody's like, I don't know what to put in it. You want to put useful information in there. Like, what is your bug out plan? if you have to leave the house, write down in detail your bug out plan, where you're going to go, locations, anything like that. Also, your bug in plan. If you are quarantined to the house or you have to bug in, you don't want no one to know you're around, what is your plan for that? Having it written down is going to be helpful, because we get frazzled when we panic, and it happens to everybody. So writing down different ways to access your bug out location is also a good idea. If you are planning to only go one route and that route is washed out, shut down, whatever, you've got to have an alternate route. Having 2 or 3 routes to get to where you need to go, I think, is really important, and something you should have all of those written down in your notebook. So again, this may be the route you're thinking of, but that road's down, so how do I get there now? You know, if you've got it written down, you can quickly get in there and look at it and say, oh yeah, we're going to go this way, take this turn, do that, and you can get there without any trouble. Another thing I think is super important to have in there is a water source location. Where are you going to get water from? We store up as much water as we can, as much space as we have, but eventually, if it's a long-term situation, you're going to run out of water. Where are you going to get water? There are places to go. Call local towns. If there are springs in the area, they should know about them. Things like that. Close nearby rivers, ones that are, you know, from a mountain is best. If you have to get into a river that runs through a city, it's obviously going to be more polluted, but you can still clean that water and treat it or whatever and use that water. You need to know, where am I going to get water, and having it written in there will make it stress-free and a lot easier for you. And another thing that I think is great to have in there is pictures and written like identification for local foraging plants. Plants that you can go out within walking distance and get. What kind of plants are around you? You know, having written down in there that, you know, cat nine tails are down next to the swamp, and if you dig them up, the roots are edible. And things like that. You know, you can get vitamin C from spruce. If you have chest congestion, you can get some white pine needles and make a tea. Just different things that are local to you that you know you can use, and learning that foraging so you can just grab it. Also, having medical information is really good to have in there. If you have a child that has an allergy, or an adult, anybody in your group of people, it's really good to have that information written down in there. So if you're not around at the time of an emergency starts and they need to look in there, they can grab it. Other people in your family, they can grab that book, they can find the information, they know right away. They don't have to wait until you get there, or because it may be a while until you can get there, depending on the emergency. How to survival information, things like that, things that you don't do every day, but you have tried, you know it works, like how to filter water. It's not something you do every day, but you've done it, you know how to do it. Write the steps down. What kind of things do you need to look for? You know, if you write down that, okay, I'm going to need water, some sand, some rocks, some grass, some charcoal, a t-shirt or some kind of cloth, and you're going to be able to filter water. If you write all that stuff down, then you know what you need to do it, and the layers to put it in, how it's going to go. So you're able to get that done, and in an emergency, it's all written down. It's going to make it so much more simple for you. And another thing is important phone numbers, contacts, things like that. If you had to bug out, do you have someone you need to contact to let them know that you're okay, or where you are, or that you need help, or whatever? Whatever the situation is, having those numbers and addresses written down in there. It's going to make it easier for you. And really, you can add anything that you want in there. If it's quick, easy recipes, things that, you know, you can make from your preps, or things that you know, how to collect fat wood, or whatever, anything it is that you think is important that is going to help you in a situation, add that as well. Put everything in there. If, you know, having how-to information isn't important to you, don't put that in there. It's your notebook. Really personalize it to you. And I think that's the best way to go. There's so much information you could put in there, but figuring out what is going to be the most important for you in that survival situation. So I know a lot of people are probably wondering, why would I do this? Why would I go to all the work to put this together? Honestly, one of the reasons that we did it was to get all that information in a central location so it's easy for us to find. And I also think it's important, once you write down like your bug out plan or something like that, any kind of something that has to go in order, or a location, how to get there, have someone else in your family look it over and make sure it makes sense to them as well. That just kind of reinforces everything, make sure it's right. Sometimes when we're writing things down, get a little jumbled, we might skip a step, you know, things like that. Having someone else look it over is just going to help you make sure that it's right and easy when it's time to use it. Another reason we did this is because it's in times of crisis, a lot of people panic. I panic. You know, you get all worked up, you get frazzled, you forget things. You might not think of something that you need to do right away when it's really important to get it done right now. Things like that. I think it is really important. Then you can grab it. You've got a set plan. This is how it needs to go. And it's not so, it makes everything not so scary. I mean, you've got a plan. You know what you're going to do. You're going to follow that plan. You're probably going to be really stressed out, but that's okay. You'll get through it because you've got everything written down and easy to understand what you need to do. Also, if you have to bug out, this is going to fit in your bug out bag. It could be an extremely valuable resource if you had to bug out. Information in here could save your life. And you can also, I think it's great to go back through it, you know, when you're adding new information that you find that you think is important, or every couple of months, go back through everything, look through it, make sure that it's still pertinent, addresses, phone numbers for your people that you need to contact are up to date. People move, stuff happens, phone numbers change. I think it's important to go back and check it and just make sure it's updated constantly. If your bug out location changes, you know, to another location, or you happen to move, then it's going to be a different route to get to your bug out location, or whatever that is. So I think it's important just to go through it every now and then and update, change things. If you know someone moved, update that. If you want to add something to it, anything like that, it's really just keeping it updated will be helpful for you. And one last reason that I always think about is, if God forbid, if anything happened to you, I always think that if something happened to me, I would want this there. This would be so valuable for your family to know your plan. So if you have other ideas of things to put in the notebook, please put them in the comments down below. It really can be anything that you would put in there, and everybody's different, and you might help somebody else out. I mentioned a few things to go in there, but there are tons of stuff you could put in there, and whatever it is could be helpful. So if you have ideas, leave a comment down below. Let's share and help each other so we're all gonna be okay. And that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.